Hi, I'm HondaPro Jason. Welcome to the HondaPro Show, watched by over 2.9 million people and kept alive because you subscribe. This week, I have an NSX story that's burning up the internet, a new car is about to hit Indonesia, and I have an update to Project Orange. All this and more coming up next. Welcome to this week's edition of the HondaPro Show. My first story is one hot story. I mean, it's really burning up the internet. Honda was caught testing the NSX at Nurburgring in Germany. They showed this car running around the track, and this is going to be a 500 plus horsepower, twin turbocharged V6 hybrid supercar. And they showed pictures of this car being tested all over the Nurburgring. And then the next day, we saw this. Yes, the car on fire. Now, give me a second, let me explain. Honda tests their cars to the limits and then beyond. And they do this so if anything's going to happen, they want it happening in their hands, not in your hands. So the fact that this car caught on fire could possibly be a good thing. It's something they saved from a customer, or something they saved that could have happened to a customer. So they're checking and trying to see if anything will break, if anything will catch on fire. And don't worry, I have inside sources that tell me this is the one of about 100 cars that they built prototypes for. So they can test them and they can destroy them. And as one great guy once said, success is 99% failure. On to my next story. The Honda Amaze. Now, we don't have the Honda Amaze here in America, but the Honda Amaze is one of the best-selling cars in India, if not the best-selling car. So it's time for a little facelift. And what does Honda do? Could they sit back and just do nothing? Because they do have the best-selling car in the whole country. No. They're going to make it even better. They're going to increase the sound deadening of the engine. So they're going to rebuild, retool the engine, the diesel engine, because that's really the only part of the car that anyone ever complained about was a little bit of the noise. So they're going to redo the engine, make it a little bit quieter, change a couple little things to the car to make sure that they stay on top in that country. On to the Civic Tour. Now, the Civic Tour is much like our Accord Cross Tour here in America. It's the wagon version of the Civic, and it's going to be hitting Europe, and it's going to hit Europe in a big way. Now, it's built off the European Civic, which hasn't really been a bestseller. So Honda hopes that this new wagon with a fold-up magic seat just like the Fit and a diesel and gasoline engine is really going to do the trick. And I've seen some pictures and a bunch of videos, and I think this car definitely hits a nail on the head. And my final story is all about Indonesia. Honda is coming out with this HR-V, which is going to be the Fit wagon in Indonesia. And you know where they're building it? In Indonesia. And most of the parts are going to come from, you guessed it, Indonesia. And it only makes sense. I mean, why don't we build a car and produce the parts in the country that's going to be sold in? Good job, Honda. I look forward to more countries following the same thing. I'm going to take a little break, and we're going to get right into my fun fact of the week. It's fun fact time. The last time Honda sold an NSX was in 2005. They plan on re-releasing the car 10 years later in 2015. And that's your fun fact of the week. And now for an update on Project Orange. We picked up Project Orange at King Motorsports in Wisconsin. Stage 1 is complete. The modifications include a CT engineering supercharger, Hondata computer, and a Skunk2 Racing downpipe. We immediately took that car from King Motorsports and drove it right up to Michigan, to Gingerman Raceway, to see the guys up at Honda meet. And it was an insane event. It was a track event that I got to drive, or I got to ride in an S2000 and a K20 swap CRX on the track. I never knew you could push cars to the limits like that. It was really unbelievable to me. Thanks to all the fans that came out, all the friends I made up there, and a big thanks to Chris, who runs Honda Meet. We immediately took that car and drove it 600 miles down to Sparta, Kentucky, where we attended Import Alliance, and it was awesome. Project Orange sat right up front, glowing with its hood open, and everyone that walked by said about the same thing. Is that a factory color? And did that supercharger come with it? Because it looks factory. It was awesome. Thanks again to all the fans and all the friends that we made out there, and a huge thanks to Don. Running Import Alliance, I can't imagine what that takes, and you do an awesome job, my friend. I look forward to the fall event. Now, one of the guys that I met out there, his name is Jonathan. Jonathan is the editor of S3 Magazine. S3 Magazine is my giveaway this week. I'm going to be giving away 3 2-year subscriptions to this magazine. And all I ask for you guys to do is tell me, what do you think Stage 2 of Project Orange should include? Leave your creative comments below. As always, I'm the Honda Pro, and now you're in the know.